Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos and welcome to Sandalone City where the Sandalone Swarm are hosting the very impressive, I have to say, Olivine Ore. The Olivine Ore are going to start out with Copperajah and Steelix, whereas the Sandalone Swarm are going to start out with Volcarona and Heracross, who both have a secondary typing advantage over the Olivine Ore. Heracross with its fighting typing and Volcarona with its fire typing. Volcarona going to go first. Let us know in the comments below who you think is going to win today. Sandalone Swarm or the Olivine Ore. Volcarona just decides to share its power with Steelix, but the speed advantage is in the favour of Sandalone Swarm, and Heracross is going to go with a Flame Charge. That'll be super effective on Copperajah and does massive damage. Heracross's speed will also get a boost in that. Steelix now, going to go with a double hit. Targets Volcarona, it's not going to do much damage to the Fire Bug type. Copperajah now with its opportunity. And it's going to go with a Lick. They continue to target Volcarona. As always, this is a 6-on-6 Metronome battle, and if we hit that 20-minute timer, we will go into single battle overtime. Heracross now with the speed advantage after that Flame Charge. And it's going to go with a Leafage. If it targets Steelix, this could do potentially more damage. Still does not do a great deal, and did get that critical hit though. With that said, Steelix does have one of the most... It actually has the most impressive defense stat in all of the Elite Challenge League, sitting at 200 base defense. Volcarona goes with the Spore and is able to put Copperajah to sleep. This can be very beneficial for the Sandalone Swarm. Steelix now. Steelix goes with a Simple Beam. And it's going to target Heracross. So Heracross is Moxie. So if Heracross eliminates a Pokemon, it usually gets an attack boost when it's on its home field. But now that it's got Simple, its stats can be doubled, but also taken down twice as much. But Heracross still has that speed advantage. If it can get a fighting type move off, instead it goes for a Sing, but it goes for Copperajah. If it had gone for Steelix, it would have had both Olivine Ore Pokemon put to sleep. We get a Present now coming from Volcarona, but Steelix avoids that attack. Now Steelix. It's going to go with a Gravity. This will bring everyone with the flying typing or the Levitate ability down to Earth. Copperajah is still fast asleep on the battlefield. So the Olivine Ore are currently on a 5-game winning streak, and they are on top of the ladder. They have been so dominant. So the Sandalone Swarm are facing a very big challenge today. We get a Leaf Blade coming from Heracross, and it continues to target Steelix with these Grass-type moves, almost getting Steelix down into the yellow. Volcarona now. It's going to go with a Lock-on, so it's going to concentrate on a target, and does pick Steelix. If it can go for a physical type move on the next turn, it is going to hit. So it might want to try and get off a one-hit KO move. Steelix is going to go with a Glaciate. And it's going to hit both Volcarona and Heracross. It's not going to do much damage to Volcarona or Heracross for that matter, but it will lower both of their speed stats. With that said, they're still much quicker, typically, than the Olivine Ore, and Copperajah is awake. Copperajah is going to go with a Screech though, so it's just looking to lower the stats. It's going to hit Volcarona. There it is, lowering Volcarona's defense. Volcarona, though, with that 135 special attack is where it favors. Heracross has 125 base attack, so they're both very good at hitting their opponents. And it goes with a Shell Smash from Volcarona, so it's only going to boost its defense. Copperajah on the field, also a very good physical attacker, has 130 base attack. But as I said before, Steelix with that very impressive defense. It's unbelievable. Heracross now, that speed advantage still on the side of the Sandalone Swarm, and it's going to go with a Rollout. This move, the more times it hits, the more momentum it builds. So that first one, and it's going to be not very effective the whole time, but it will get stronger every time it hits. Going to Bind now, coming from Copperajah, and it targets Heracross. So Heracross is going to be taking damage in between turns from that Bind. It will chip away at it. Steelix now. Steelix goes with a Happy Hour. Everyone's going to be caught up in this happy atmosphere before we see Heracross take more damage from that Bind. But the Sandalone Swarm have actually won their last 2 games, so they're starting to build a little bit of momentum. They were sitting in 4th at one stage early on in the season and slipped very low in the ladder. But they're trying to make their way back up. They're sitting 11th at the moment. A win today could get them so much closer to getting in the 8 if it doesn't get them into the 8. Power Trick now coming from Volcarona. Obviously a win for the Olivine Ore will just keep them on top of the ladder. Heracross with a Rollout. It could potentially extend their lead over the other teams. Still not very effective, but it gets Copperajah down into the yellow with that little bit of extra damage. We're getting Endeavor now coming from Copperajah, targeting Heracross. And Steelix with an opportunity to follow up. And it's going to go with Skull Bash, so it's going to boost that already previously mentioned impressive defense, and that Skull Bash will hit on the next turn. There's that bind continuing to target Heracross, taking it down into the yellow. Still yet to have an elimination in over 5 minutes of battle time as well. Volcarona is going to go with a Misty Explosion. This will be our first elimination. Looking to take down any opposing Pokemon, it only takes down its teammate in Heracross. Steelix and Copperajah both get taken down into the red, but it's super effective on Heracross, so Heracross is taken out by its own teammate. This is terrible for the Sandalwood Swarm. They were holding their own very well against the Olivine Ore so far. Topsy-turvy coming from Copperajah, but it will fail, and that Skull Bash has no one to hit now. So that gravity also returns to normal as Vikavolt comes out for the Sandalwood Swarm, the Bug Electric type. And we're also going to have Scyther, the Flying Bug type, come out for the Sandalwood Swarm. Scyther has 110 base attack and 105 speed, so we should be seeing Scyther go first. And here it will. Vikavolt, however, has an amazing 145 special attack. We get a Sunny Day now coming from Scyther. So it's just going to cause a harsh sunlight on the battlefield. If anyone goes for a Solar Beam or a Solar Blade, it will only take one turn, as they are normally 2-turn moves. Vikavolt now is going to go with a Scratch. This is not going to be very effective on the Steel type, and barely leaving a mark, barely leaving a scratch on Steelix. Steelix responds with a Flower Shield, but it will fail. Copperajah now. Sandalwood Swarm need to capitalize on the low health of the Olivine Ore Pokemon right now. Try and level things out on this battlefield as quickly as possible. Scyther takes that Psy Strike. It's a decent hit from Copperajah. Again, that speed advantage is still on the side of the Sandalwood Swarm. They need to capitalize. Scyther now. It's going to go with a Revenge. This will be super effective. This should finish off whoever it hits, and it's going to target Steelix. And Steelix has been eliminated by Scyther. So there's the first Pokemon now taken down for the Olivine Ore. Vikavolt needs to follow up. And it's going to go with a Shell Smasher. It's only going to boost its stats. So it doesn't take down Copperajah when they have the opportunity. Does greatly boost the attack and special attack of Vikavolt, as well as that speed. So it needs to capitalize on that on the next turn. Copperajah now going to go with a Double Kick. Targeting Scyther. It's not going to be very effective. But we will be seeing the third Pokemon shortly come out for the Olivine Ore. And it's going to be Bronzong, Psychic Steel type. Bronzong coming on with a 116 for its defense and special defense, so it's very defensive. It can take a hit. Vikavolt now with those boosted stats needs to take advantage of this. It's going to go with a Focus Blast. This will be super effective. And it targets Bronzong. And it's a one-hit wonder. Forget what I said about Bronzong being able to take a hit. It takes one and it is out of here. That is 2 down for the Olivine Ore, and the Sandalwood Swarm have just leveled things up. And we're getting a Throat Chop from Scyther. And that will take Copperajah down. So the Sandalwood Swarm have taken the lead in this battle over, as I've said, the dominant Olivine Ore. Sandalwood Swarm have come in here as underdogs and they've taken the lead. This is what they need. This will boost their confidence. As Metagross, the pseudo-legendary, comes out for the Olivine Ore. Metagross having a very impressive season so far. And Duraludon, the top 2 ranked Pokemon now for the Olivine Ore, are on the battlefield. Metagross having 135 attack and 130 defense. Duraludon having 120 special attack. These guys can brutalize Pokemon. Torment, though, coming from Vikavolt. So Duraludon's going to be subjected to that, and it will be doing struggle in the coming turns. Metagross's Clear Body will prevent its stats from being lowered as well. So this is exactly what Duraludon and Metagross need. They have not taken any damage yet. So Duraludon is just going to boost its special attack, which we already mentioned is 120 when it's at base level. So this is going to do massive damage if it can get off an attack. Heavy Slam coming from Metagross to Scyther, and Scyther has been eliminated by Metagross, and just like that, things are all tied up thanks to the pseudo-legendary. We're going to have Shuckle coming out, Rock Bug type for the Sandalwood Swarm. Shuckle coming in with those amazing defense stats. 230. I apologize. I said Steelix had the best defense in the game, but it is Shuckle. 230 base defense, 230 special defense. It is all about taking hits. That struggle coming from Duraludon, barely leaving a mark on Shuckle. So Shuckle doesn't have much offense to bring, but it has all the defense. It can delay this game. That Weather Ball is going to be super effective, as it's going to have that fire type added to it thanks to the sunny day. That will do much more damage to Shuckle. Shuckle needs to respond with something good here. It goes with a strength. Again, Shuckle doesn't have much offense to bring to the table, so it's not going to do much damage. It's not very effective to Metagross. But that Sunlight's going to fade now. Unfortunately for Shuckle, that Sunlight was still there to help that Weather Ball do extra damage. Vikavolt now does have those boosted stats still, but instead goes with Fake Tears. And again, Metagross's clear body, its stats will not be lowered. They need to go for offensive moves on Metagross. Crabhammer now coming from Duraludon. And they continue to target Shuckle, and Shuckle has been taken out with that super effective move. Amazing there by Duraludon to take down Shuckle. Metagross has the opportunity to capitalize as the Olivine have taken the lead back, and it goes with a Thunderfang on the Thunder Bug type. So it's not very effective. Still does a decent amount of damage to Vikavolt, however. And we have Golisopod, the last Pokemon for the Sandalone Swarm, come onto the battlefield. Water Bug type. It has that 125 attack and 140 defense. But Vikavolt needs to capitalize on its special attack, because Metagross only has a 90 special defense, but that Blue Flare, which would have been super effective, has missed. There's that struggle coming from Duraludon again. Gets that recoil damage. Metagross now with its opportunity. It's going to go with an Arm Thrust. See how many hits it can get off. It gets one. It has two. They're not very big hits though. There's three. And it's not very effective. It only gets 3 hits out. Golisopod now. It's going to go with a Solar Beam. This is a move that needed to be done when that sun was out. So it's going to take up a turn to charge. Vikavolt now. Again, still with those boosted attack stats. And it's going to go with a quick attack. Not the type of attack it wants on a Pokemon like Metagross. Not very effective. Unfortunately, that Blue Flare did miss, and that was terrible for the Sandalone Swarm. And we get a Guillotine. And it is going to connect a one-hit KO on Golisopod. That Guillotine is always going to eliminate its opponent. And Golisopod is taken out, and Vikavolt is left all by itself. We get an Icy Wind now coming from Metagross. Vikavolt has these 2 behemoths to take care of. And Vikavolt is taken down into the red as its speed is lowered. Vikavolt being the last Pokemon on the field. It needs to connect with something. Duraludon, though, is now quicker than it. It's going to go with that struggle, and the struggle is going to take Vikavolt out, and the Olivine continue their domination over the Elite Challenge League. That was unbelievable, especially by Metagross and Duraludon. As soon as they came on the field, everything changed. But that Misty Explosion from Volcarona was the worst start that the Sandalone Swarm could have. It took out Volcarona and Heracross, who were both doing very well on the battlefield. And there's Heracross fainting, unfortunately. Scyther and Vikavolt were able to respond really well and actually put the Sandalone Swarm back in front. So I'll give all the credit to Vikavolt and Scyther. But unfortunately, as soon as Metagross and Duraludon came on, the Olivine never looked back. Like I said, they continue their domination over the Elite Challenge League, and they're going to look to do that next week when they face the Viridian Fissure in Olivine City. Whereas the Sandalone Swarm did their best against the Olivine, but unfortunately just could not get the job done, and will look to perform much better when they continue to be at home next week when they host the Spikemuth Devils. But this was just the absolute domination moment. That Guillotine to Golisopod, and from there you knew everything was going the Olivine way. Unbelievable. And that struggle, finishing off Vikavolt. So Duraludon did very well to handle that recoil damage. But as always, Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best on field. And always remember, you are awesome, and I will speak to you next time.